At Old Bridal, we have wedding gowns and accessories for wholesale, retail, and rental. We have ball gowns, fishtail gowns, prom gowns, and more. Visit us today at 111 Ekenwa Road by Uniben Ekenwa Campus before Agro Junction, or call 08037254245.
Is the place I can call.
All bridal weddings, memories forever.
It is the season of glory live in Benin City. Brought to you by Chris Okafor World Outreach Ministries, COWAM. Get ready to put your evil pursuers where they belong. Theme: Pursue, Overtake, and Recover All Season 3. Ministry: Dr. Chris Okafor. Venue: Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Stadium Road, Benin City, Edo State. Date: Monday, February the 22nd to Tuesday, February the 23rd, 2016. Time: 4 p.m. daily. Partnership registration will take place at the same venue on Monday, February the 22nd between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pastors and Leadership Conference will hold on Tuesday, February the 23rd at 12 noon. Bring the weak, the sick, and the heavy laden, and the King of Glory will give them rest on every side. Pursue, overtake, and recover all. Season 3. We will negotiate with the devil. Jesus is Lord.
Do you want to be a practicing journalist, a reporter, a presenter, or broadcaster? Then here is the golden opportunity you have been waiting for. Push Africa, in partnership with Job Aid, is offering graduates with flair for jobs in the media industry, practicing journalists, unemployed graduates, NYSC core members, and other professionals, an 8 weeks media and journalism training in Abuja. Start date 29th February to 18th April 2016. Venue: Push Africa, Center for Capacity Building, Apo, Abuja. Tuition, accommodation, and resource materials is 150,000 naira. Deadline for registration 20th February 2016. Application forms are currently on sale for 5,000 naira. Download application forms from our website and pay at EcoBank branches nationwide. For details, visit www.pushafrica.org or call 081-339-44345. This program is officially supported by the Nigerian Union of Journalists and the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC.
What is it, Max?
Dad, I just checked for my post-UTME score online. I've been denied admission again.
Maxwell, guess what? You have just been offered admission into Unival Institute of Technology to study a national diploma course.
Dad, what? I don't want to study in any school that is not accredited.
Trust me, Max. I've done my verification. UIT Benin is a federal government approved institution. You can check your jam broker on page 689.
Dad, you must be kidding.
No!
But Daddy, I don't want to be attending any lectures from home.
UIT Benin has hostel accommodation for their students.
Then what am I waiting for?
Hurry now. Obtain admission forms to study. Admission requirements as follows: 5 credits and jam score. Awaiting results can also apply at Unival Institute of Technology, 47 Silico Road, before Olia Market. A permanent site is at Kilometer 12, Upper Silico Road, Iduadola Community, Benin City, Edo State. Telephone 081-862-23088.
Convention. Jesus the Rock Evangelical Church International invites you to her 2016 National Convention with the theme Peace and Restoration, God's Divine Will for His Children. Date: Friday 19th February, 9 p.m. till dawn, all night in conjunction with PFN Zone 6. February 20th and 21st, 5 p.m. Love Feast. February 22nd, 6 a.m. early morning prayers. Venue: 1-2 Jesus the Rock Evangelical Church International, Pathfinder Road, True Pipeline, Okafor, off Upper Sokmamba Road, Benin. Ministering: Apostle Dr. Gospower Ogboma, CACGM, Pastor Israel Victor Okoruwa, Reverend G.I. Omogiawi, Pastor Osaro Ogboy, and Reverend Dr. Imafidon. Have you lost your peace and joy, or are you depressed? Come, for your season of weeping has come to an end, in Jesus' name. Signed, Apostle Dr. Idele Kevin, Chief Host.
present will not bow to the white man.
I did was not stealing. I was attempting to return back lost property.
Na kesila diane o egie tamame tamarwe oriara na besilima botagmoya anado mwe yate no mekena ga ogbabo. Invasion 1897 ona oha widugbo wa no ya dolo no yo vora mezukure oha dobebo otenya nu gerino unu ilawodorina soso. Invasion 1897 yo kwego ngone lungo no ku Lancelot Oduwa imasun enolugegbe no kwa. Invasion 1897 Emaya ni yesimati tiwotagmoya eyaruwe agamewe St. John's Production number 40 Sokomba Road Baderie Oedo uga dokpa ugi dobe yagba kwarunda ona enokia dioto ya. Invasion 1897 oladiane o oba atokpa he said.
A beautiful Monday morning it is. We're glad to have you join us on your ultimate show on television, TMI. My name is Sonny Duke Okos, your host on the program today. Looking at what we have in stock for you, it's something worth watching, worth staying with us from now till about 9:50 or thereabout when the show comes to a close. First, we'll begin by looking at the updates on the controversies surrounding new electricity tariff. Some say it's unacceptable. When we say some now, we're specifically talking about the organized labor and some civil society groups. And of course, the Senate has also taken a stand on the matter, obviously on the side of organized labor and the civil society group. But there are those who are saying that not until we make more investments, particularly the more money the new tariffs will bring on board, the electricity distribution companies, the generation companies can't survive. We'll be looking at this aspect of the discourse on the show today. In addition, Road to 2016 polls will take our focus, take our attention on TMI this Monday morning. We'll be looking at party primaries and incumbency factor, a look at pedigrees of aspirants, and a lot more. All of these you should expect on our package for today on this morning on ITV TMI. As usual, we'll bring you papers review, and then we'll join Ifoma Igwe Okafo, if she's ready, with our viewpoint segment. But I'm sure she's ready. For now, we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll look at what the papers are saying. But remember, come Monday, 28th of March, all roads will lead to Spokesman Communication Ministry down Sablé Road for the 2016 edition of Galilee Experience, a time, a moment to appreciate God for the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, as we celebrate Easter in a very, very unique way. Only known to ITV, unique to ITV and radio, and so we look forward to seeing you there. If I were you, businessman, businesswoman, this is just one moment I should take advantage of, and to sponsor that event, put your resources in there. You can be rest assured that the the profits will definitely accrue to your account. We'll take a short break, and then when we return, we'll look at what the papers are saying this Monday morning. Once again, welcome on board TMI.
Hallelujah, Christ is risen. To celebrate the risen Christ, Independent Television and Radio, in conjunction with Spokesman Communication Ministries, brings you Galilee Experience 2016 under the distinguished chairmanship of the Holy Spirit. It shall be heaven on earth as Spokesman Communication Mass Choir and ITV Blessed Voices spice up the event with melodious songs, featuring choir competition for choristers from different denominations with a star prize of 42-inch LED television. Ministry, Reverend Professor Gregory Irabo, General Overseer, Spokesman Communication Ministries Worldwide. Date Monday 28th March 2016. Time 6 a.m. prompt. Venue 1 Mechanic Road, off Sapler Road, after Ajip, Benin City. To discharge our social responsibility to the public, there will be free medical checkup by a team of doctors on Friday 25th and Saturday 26th of March 2016, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Readers are Honorable E.G. Agboima, member representing Ego and Ikbobaoka Federal Constituency, House of Representatives, Pastor Benson Ogeriaki, General Overseer, Star of Grace Ministries and Proprietor, Star of Grace School, Apostle Dr. Emmanuel Igeon, General Overseer, Banner of Solution Christian Assembly, Honorable Patrick Aguinede, former Commissioner for Basic Education, Edo State, and Managing Director, Patan Chemicals, Pastor Mrs. Obi Okeke, General Overseer, Christian Brethren Ministry, Honorable Joseph Ayegbeni Ugoke, Commissioner for Lands and Survey, Edo State, Pastor Kelly Obasui, Senior Pastor, Graceland The Full Gospel Ministry, Comrade Jude Obasumi, Chief Responsibility Officer, Josmaria Ekrina Foundation and President Conference of NGOs, Congos, Bishop Gode Iboyi Okpokoro, JP, General Overseer, Promise Kingdom Ministry, also known as Overflow Chapel, Saple, Pastor Azena Azeme, Omega Fire Ministries, Benin Branch, Honorable Omoegi Ogbede Iyama, member representing Oedo Federal Constituency, House of Representatives, Abuja, Prince Odi Okoje, Managing Director, Henold Integrated Limited, Honorable Victor Inobahaye, Chairman, Ego Local Government Council, Evangelist Tiva Wealth Yamu, Senior Pastor, Canal Land Deliverance Ministry, Honorable Dr. Felix Godsent Akabwe, former National President, Argon, and Chairman, CEO, Jofel Supreme Group of Companies, Honorable Sam Obo, Chairman, Asa Northeast Local Government, Uromi. Come, experience the Galilee Experience with us.
Know me without you.
Okay, just in time now for the papers review segment. We have Vanguard, we have The Punch, we have Nation, we have Guardian, and so many others. We'll highlight some of these ones and lots more in the course of this first segment of our papers review segment. Okay, let's begin with Vanguard newspaper. What are the top stories from Vanguard Monday morning? It says Omokore opens up on oil swap deals. Omokore opens up on oil swap deals. You know, in this particular story, the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Alison Diziani, Alison Maduke, has been accused of approving over $24 billion oil swap deal contract. And now the man who is fingered, who is alleged to be at the center of that scam, is opening up. And we just wait and see where all of these will lead us to ultimately. But the woman who was at the helm of affairs when all of these scam took place is seriously ill. by virtue of the fact that she's down with cancer. This is just something that we need to reflect on. Power is so transient, and life is not like you're going to live forever, so to speak. Why this craze to a man's wealth, accumulate wealth that even you, generations unborn, can expend? Who would have thought that the woman would be in such a condition today? Remember when the present administration came on board, she was asking Nigerians to pray for her. But in the days of yore, not too distant past, when she held sway, and everything seems to be going on well, I'm sure she wouldn't have asked, she didn't ask Nigerians to pray for her. If maybe by sheer coincidence, Gage had won the election, I'm sure that would have taken place, because all of these revelations now still would have been in the dark. It's a lesson for our politicians to learn. You're in power today doesn't mean you'll be in power for eternity. A time will come where you leave power, and then you'll be like the ordinary man in the street. And how will it look like? How would life become for you? What would life become for you? How will things turn for you? Okay, let's look at the other story, still from Vanguard. Buhari and diplomatic shuttle to stabilize oil price. Buhari in diplomatic shuttle to stabilize oil price. Well, those managing Mr. President's information, they'll be looking for where to anchor his frequent trips abroad. And now they've finally gotten one, that the trip is geared towards stabilizing oil price. So we wait and see how that turns out in the days to come. If the oil price is going to appreciate a little bit, or if it's going to slump further than what we've seen at the moment. Okay, returning loot may not save suspects from prosecution, says EFCC czar. It's talking about Mago. Returning loot may not save suspects from prosecution, says Mago. And then the most shocking over the weekend was a story that the former Chief of Air Staff's wife returned about 381, allegedly, okay, yeah, because I couldn't verify that personally. I saw that on the papers. Allegedly returned 381 million naira. And then the question would be, how did the wife of Chief of Air Staff, have access to that kind of money? I mean, the husband was the Chief of Air Staff. She wasn't. But it shows that corruption now in Nigeria has become a family trend. I mean, we're seeing former governors and their children being prosecuted. And interestingly, all the celebrated cases of corruption in recent times has been in that direction. Quite unfortunate. We've already sown the seed of corruption, even though it's been there, but to a large extent, we have prepared the ground for it to be watered and grow bigger in our children by virtue of the involvement of some ex-governors or other top politicians, involvement of their children in this corruption scandal. It's quite sad, really, really sad. And then you're wondering, when will it end? Will it ever end? President Muhammadu Buhari is doing so much in that direction. But everywhere, anywhere he turns his attention to, somebody, somewhere, is doing something to undermine due process for his own selfish benefit, selfish interest. I mean, take, for example, the 2016 budget. Under Mr. President's nose, over 1 trillion naira was used to pad the budget. And some say, well, it's been like that over the years. But you don't get to hear it because everyone is involved. But those who got that done thought that it was still in the days of yore, that he could just do these things and get away with it. And then you find civil servants that owns choice properties in choice areas in Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. But things have changed now. Things are turning around now, even though There are big questions on that subject of change. All right? We'll talk about that much later. Okay, still from Vanguard. What are the other stories we're following right now? Banks struggle with excess 1.5 trillion naira deposits. Banks struggle with excess 1.5 trillion naira deposits. And then there was also a story yesterday that CBN uncovered about over 6 billion naira illegal charges by banks. And so, which means some of these things that people have been saying every now and then is true. Over 6 billion naira illegal deductions, illegal charges by banks. What a country. But things are getting better because these things are coming to the fore. In the days not too distant past, some of these things will come to the fore. You'll just be there in the dark, and those who have manipulated the system, masterminded it, will just be smiling to the banks to get these monies out and establish and live large and do all sort of big things. And then they get chieftaincy titles. They sit on the front rows in some churches. Yeah, I said that because I know it's not in all church. It's not in every church that you find such people giving front row position. Yeah, I know that for sure. Okay, so what more can we bring you from Vanguard? Nobody can reverse new electricity tariff. Ex-Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission boss is saying that. I think I have an inclination why he said that. Because the new electricity tariff is backed by law. But there is a court order saying, put this thing aside until the matter is adjudicated on. There's also a part of the law establishing this that says before you go ahead and put up a new electricity tariff, you got to have a stakeholders meeting where everyone gets involved. Input is made. Was that done? So if the ex-NEC boss is saying that nobody can reverse this, was due process followed in getting to where we are today? We'll look at all of that in the course of the program as well. Let's turn our attention now to the Punch newspaper. We're done with Vanguard. We'll go straight to the Punch newspaper, and it says, Buhari to visit Saudi, Qatar to discuss oil price. Buhari to visit Saudi, Qatar to discuss oil price. Then still on Punch, Tampolo asks appeal court to void arrest warrant. Tampolo asks appeal court to void arrest warrant. Corrupt persons in legislature, judiciary, says Osibanjo. Corrupt persons in legislature and judiciary, Osibanjo. That's a statement of fact because they are everywhere. And still from the Punch, EFCC links ex-chief of defense staff Bade to 4.4 billion naira Nimasa fraud. EFCC links ex-chief of defense staff Bade to 4.4 billion naira Nimasa fraud. And then we have PDP, Wabara, Shagari, Juta ask Sheriff to resign. That's the new PDP chairman. It's been asked to resign by some members of the party. All of these stories you will find in the Punch newspaper. I also highlighted Vanguard earlier on. You'll find any of these stories of interest to you. Get your copy and get more on them. Let's go to the Nigerian Tribune, our next port of call on the paper's review segment of the show. Our next port of call is Tribune. Arrogance, disease worrying Nigeria, says Orishi Jafo. All right. And then that's the top one from the Nigerian Tribune. And then Osun PDP accused Aregbesola of planning to replace sacked doctors with native doctors. This is the biggest joke of the day, maybe in the month of February, maybe in the year 2016. The biggest joke. Oshu PDP accused Arubishola of planning to replace sacked medical doctors with native doctors. So what happens to the hospitals? The native doctors are going to be playing the oracles and stuff like that in the hospitals. Anyway, that's the top one coming in from Nigerian Tribune. You want more on it? Get a copy of Tribune today. All right, then my victory is to serve my people, says coming from Senator David Mark, who had a landslide victory in his senatorial district over the weekend in the rerun election. The man boasted that he was going to win and that his people love him and that his people were behind him. I'm sure the results of that election has proven that. But I think in the other constituency, it went the way of APC in that state as well. Okay, let's hope that the loser here will accept the outcome of the election results. He will accept the results and not waste his money, resources, time, and what have you going to the Election Petitions Tribunal, to the appeal court, and maybe to the Supreme Court. You know, we usually, even when it's glaring that things went the way it went because the man who won obviously was more popular, more acceptable to the people, we say no. The court must decide it. Until I get to the court, go through with the option that I have with the courts and the tribunal, I won't rest this matter. And then the man goes ahead, even when all the permutations, all the signs and all the symptoms are there for him to know that this is an exercise in futility. He goes ahead to spend his money, waste his money, and then before he finally bows out. So I hope that Senator Mark's opponent will accept this in good faith, move on, wait for another opportunity. 4 years is not eternity. Okay, still from Tribune. If you destroy Tompolo, Mary Tompolos will arise, okay? If you destroy Tompolo, many Tompolos will arise. That's a warning there. If you destroy Tompolo, many Tompolos will arise. All right, Nigerian Tribune. Okay, then we have illegal charges. CBN vows to sanction erring banks. Some names have been fingered in these illegal charges, and CBN has vowed to sanction them. Okay, I won't devalue Naira, Buhari insists. So, you won't devalue Naira. What options, what alternative are you providing? Okay, let's move on to the Sun newspaper. Dasuki Gate, Metu wants Jonathan as witness. Dasuki Gate, Metu wants Jonathan as witness. Saraki behind budget passage delay, says Marafa. Saraki behind budget passage delay, says Marafa. Family of 7 dies in auto crash. Quite unfortunate. And then we go to other top stories from the Sun. Alleged 34 billion naira fraud. Hands off my case, Tompolo tells judge. Is that a threat? Alleged 34 billion naira fraud. Hands off my case, Tompolo tells judge. Is that a threat? Okay, then we have fire sheet to Buhari. Devalue Naira now. Forex policy short-changing Nigerians. Fire sheet to Buhari. Devalue Naira now. Forex policy short-changing Nigerians. Top stories from the Sun newspaper. Okay, I'm sure we'll just take a short break now so we get ready for the AM news. After the news, when we return, we'll be looking at more stories from other headlines. Of course, The Nation, Guardian, and a couple of others are still up for review on this segment of the program, but that will come after the AM news. Join me again on the other side of TMI after the AM news.
My country people, una remember Easter Gbedu? Yes, Independent to television and radio don't come again. Oh, this one na meristic swagarism for papa, mama, brother, sister, pikin. Even that baby wey dey inside belle wey never arrive. You dey inclusion for this Easter Gbedu. Hey, gwe. Skibby one, skibby two, skibby three. Don't let them do you take. Come mark a present as a gift to Sakwa for Gate. An additional gift for competitions like gospel singing competition, football juggling, egg raising, filling the bottle, hymn competition, and the star prize now boom. For damn. That gospel band and the DJ Amando. Then they on ground Gidigba to make you dance like Ikoto. ITV Radio. Una not go kill person no. The date now Monday 28th March for 2016. The time now 11 o'clock for morning. Venue Unko now ITV Radio corporate headquarters for Glass House, Airport Road for Benin City. The gate fees now Ogbele 500 naira for one person. Make I see you there. This Ogbonge program will get support from Univers Institute of Technology for Siloko Road for Benin City.
It's up to us, all of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land. Let us protect her as we protect each other. Report any criminal activity. Call these numbers. Your call is anonymous, and it is vitally important. Your support so far has been critical. Continuing it will make all the difference between a Nigeria of the fearful and a Nigeria of the free. Protect each other, for we are not terrorists. We are Nigerians. A message from the State Security Service.
It's a very good morning. Many thanks for joining me. This is ITV AM News. I am Ugochukwu Bamidele. Do remember Lassa fever is real. Ensure your environment is clean and rodent-free in order not to fall victim. Play your part. Against the backdrop of the increase in the exchange rates of the dollar to naira, some residents and traders in Benin City have expressed concern over the multiplier effect on some food items. Adesolato quotes traders and buyers as saying that the exchange rates may lead to devaluation of the naira.
The rate of dollar continues to increase. The effect is gradually taking its toll on traders and consumers. Some market women complained over the hike in prices of food items, which they attributed to the exchange rate of the dollar to the naira. They said a bag of rice, which before now goes for 10,000 naira, is now sold for 14,000 naira. An average size chicken, which is sold for 1,200 naira, is now sold at the rate of 1,500 naira.
For changing of dollar, it don't increase our market. Because we will carry money market and not the rich to buy anything again.
It for the year. This ogbola we dey buy 4,000 for rubber of rice. 6,000 I will buy am now. Nobody will not know say something they cause.
Today, I decided to come by myself. And truthfully, when I come, changes on the high price of everything, times 2, times 3, going to times 3.
We used to buy bag of rice 10,000 naira, 8,000, from 8 to 10. Now they are selling 14,000 now. A rubber of rice now is now even 50. The cup of rice is now 70 naira. Now we don't even sell as before. When they price, then we go.
Now basin of garri 5,000. Plantain before dozen 3,000. Now dozen of plantain 4,000, 5,000. Transport when you they pay 1,000. Now 3,000, 4,000. Then say may we change say na dollar. Dollar me no
as I go take sell again. I beg. Make government talk to people. Make the thing come.
Reacting to the issue of the exchange rate of $1, which is now being sold at the rate of 395 naira, a university lecturer and a clergyman noted with concern that in any economy of the world, there are issues that determine the well-being of the economy of a country, like the exchange rate of the country's currency, the inflation rate of the prices of goods and services, and the interest rates. They described Nigeria as a global country which exports only crude oil and as such manufactures other agricultural produce. They urged the federal government to invest more on the manufacturing of homemade goods and address the issue of job creation.
Any country who wants to grow economically must invest upon themselves. The only solution, since we have somewhat depended on the oil, and now the price of oil have fallen, what Nigeria should look now is to invest on agriculture and the other medium through which our economy can grow.
The inflation rate in Nigeria is so bad. You bought a loaf of bread. The standard loaf of bread is 150 naira on sliced bread. Then when you come back next week, they say, dollar don't increase or whatever. The price goes to 170 to 200 and so on. Manufacturers are complaining that the interest rate in the bank, the interest rate in Nigeria is one of the highest in the world.
President Muhammadu Buhari at various fora has insisted that he would not devalue the naira. Adesuwa Lato reporting.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared former Senate President David Mack as the winner of the Benue South Senatorial District rerun election. Senator Mack polled a total of 84,192 votes, while his main challenger, Daniel Onjai, had 71,621 votes. Senator Mack won in 5 local government areas, while Mr. Onjai won in 4. The result was declared by Professor Ishaku Emege. As Nigerians join other countries of the world to celebrate the International Mother Tongue Day, some residents in Benin have expressed concern on the dwindling speaking and teaching of local languages. Kingsley Uchebu spoke with some residents on UNESCO observance, which highlights the importance of mother and local languages as channels for safeguarding and sharing indigenous cultures and knowledge.
da Allah da annabi muna kira ga jama'ar mu kai bambo so ma umu ne to itena no lu hai
on gbodo ko àwọn ọmọ wọn bó ṣe kokon wọn ní èdè tiwọn.
The indigenous language of a people is regarded as mother tongue, while the International Day is an opportunity to encourage the promotion and preservation of linguistic diversity. With 3 major languages in Nigeria, namely Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, some respondents said in an era where many parents speak English language to their children and words, speaking of mother tongues appears to be dwindling.
You should be able to know your language before any other person's language. Today, they are trying to turn the culture into a trend aspect. We parents will be happy to say, my children, they speak very good English. But when they talk to their own language, to speak their own language, it's not a good thing. I encourage parents to make sure they teach their children their own language.
Language is a unifying factor. All my children are graduates. They speak Igbo language very, very well, more than even any Igbo man. So, because I started them with, we have what we call a parent hub. This Ekpere is all Igbo language. So, and it's what we use to date.
Like me, I attended Yoruba school. It's a core subject. I can speak what you want to eat. I even learn to learn Benin, Woye. And I want to make it as important. Even some of the political parties, when you want to address us, you want to tell us about the program, maybe the government candidates, want to know, can they speak the language to the people?
The respondents also said the benefits of mother tongue can be harnessed through a cultural reorientation of citizens whose neglect poses a threat to Nigeria's various indigenous cultures and multilingual society.
Speak to your children or your family for your language. You want dress your language, dress as your language. Nobody go accuse you, nobody go say, you come from this thing. You too, you go there proud.
When they don't speak now, they're already lost in their base. They can't trace their origin any longer because why? Migration is necessary where people moving out of the when you lost your language, not trace where you're coming from. It's affecting us, interlanguage is affecting us. So we the parents, we need to inculcate and enforce our children so that they should pick their mother language because it's necessary in our life.
The theme of this year's International Mother Language Day is quality education, language of instruction, and learning outcomes. Kingsley Uchebu reporting.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, says it would not create any special centers for the 2016 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME. The UTME, which will be computer-based test CBT mode all through, is expected to begin on Monday, February 29. In a statement by Head Media and Information of the board, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, the attention of the board was drawn to protests by some alleged prospective candidates in Edo and Lagos states over the closure of the board's registration portal in preparation to the UTME. While saying that the board sympathizes with the plight of these prospective candidates, the board further stated that it could not allow candidates to register perpetually, adding that it has a timetable and it adheres strictly to it. It noted that it was to allow tertiary institutions to begin admission process early. You're watching ITV AM News. More stories to come your way after this time out. Do stay with us.
Experience exquisite comfort, luxury redefined, and hospitality at its best at City Inn Hotel and Suites. We offer accommodation in tastefully furnished rooms with free internet facility, a restaurant, an indoor and outdoor bar well stocked, laundry services, 24-hour power supply, and a spacious car park. Come, let's spoil you a little at City Inn Hotel and Suites, 1 Ruby Street, Iaro, Benin City. Telephone 0807 666 1000 or 0807 565 8888. City Inn Hotel and Suites, charming style and cozy comfort.
Many thanks for staying tuned. This is ITV AM News, and don't forget you can watch ITV live online via www.itvradionnigeria.com/live via all internet-enabled devices. I'm Oguchukwu Bamidele. Now to the rest of the news. The National Broadcasting Commission says it will promote Nigerian broadcast industry's content at the 22nd edition of Cable, Broadcast and Satellite Conference scheduled for March 8 and 10 in Dubai. Deputy Director Public Affairs of the NBC, Mrs. Maimuna Jimada, made this known in Abuja. She said the Commission has signed a memorandum of understanding with Transatlantic Media Company to maximize new opportunities in the broadcast media as the world adapts to digital content delivery. According to her, NBC in furtherance of derived towards digital switchover, has come up with some initiatives to assist the industry, especially content producers and content providers in the country. Mrs. Jimada, however, said that this time around there would be a Nigerian pavilion sponsored by the NBC where professionals in the broadcast industry would discuss business with broadcast professionals all over the world. And now to messages from the pulpit, where Christians have been urged to act in accordance with the new constitution of God as enunciated in the book of Matthew in the Bible. Apostle Pius Osakwe made the remark while delivering a sermon at yesterday's service at God's Historic Church, GRA, Benin City. The report filed by Osamuyi Ogbomo is presented by Pius Nsogo.
In a sermon entitled True Happiness, Apostle Pius Osakwe said Jesus came to the world to give true happiness, which he said is the reason the news of his coming went round the world. He noted that Jesus came to teach, heal, and deliver, and urged worshippers to concentrate in the service of their Savior.
Jesus of Nazareth is passing your way. Be open to him. He's closer to you than even the judge who are passing. Jesus of Nazareth is passing, is healing. And on that, he gathered multitude. May the Holy Spirit of God gather us to whoever can hear of him and follow him to the end in Jesus' name. Amen.
The church choir was on hand to lift up the souls of worshippers in songs. Pius Nsogo reporting.
Still messages from the pulpit. In order to live above challenges, Christians have been enjoined to put their unbridled trust in God. The visiting priest St. Gabriel the Archangel Catholic Church, Reverend Father Austin Eleke, gave the advice at yesterday's Mass in Benin City. Wellington Akadija has details.
In a message entitled Greater Tomorrow Awaits Us, the officiating priest, Reverend Father Austin Eleke, said Christians must focus on God, as life without Christ is full of temptation, frustration, and disorganization. Reverend Father Eleke said Christianity without absolute trust in the teachings of Christ falls short of God's expectation. He stressed that no matter the busy schedule of Christians, they should allow God's presence to dominate their activities by avoiding ungodly things.
Everything that is surrounding you will change, because nobody can encounter God and remain the same. Our God is supreme. He can turn things around at any moment. So every time you encounter God, you are going to see the radiation of His glory in you. And that glory will begin to shine. And people around you will see it. And they will begin to testify that something is happening in you.
The priest further enjoined the congregation to continually pray for the peace and unity of the nation. Wellington Hakodeja reporting.
And now to the very exciting world sports, where two Nigerian players, Victor Moses and Emmanuel Emenike, were on the scorer's sheet as they helped their club, West Ham, to record 5-1 victory over Blackburn Rovers in the FA Cup 5th round. Blackburn Rovers playing before home fans opened scoring in the 20th minute, but Victor Moses equalized in the 26th minute. West Ham made it 2 before half-time. In the second half, Emmanuel Emenike scored 2 goals and Payet sealed victory for West Ham. Both teams finished the match with 10 players after conceding red cards. In other matches, Chelsea secured qualification to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup after recording 5-1 victory over Manchester City. Tottenham lost at home 1-0 to Crystal Palace. We'll now take a quick look at the weather forecast for cities across Nigeria and the rest of the globe for today. Do stay tuned. And that's the size of the package for the AM News. Many thanks for watching. Don't forget to join me at 8:30 a.m. for updates to all the stories making the news. I'm Uchukwu Bamidele. Good morning.
Independent television, certainly the best.
The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on This Morning on ITV, we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us. Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television, This Morning on ITV TMR. Join us.
Traffic congestion is avoidable if we all obey traffic rules and regulations. Stop the recklessness on our roads. Stop the carnage. Obey traffic rules and regulations. This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Okay, well, if you like, you can call it season 2 of the Papers Review segment. I'm sure you'll be definitely correct. But anyway, we conclude our Papers Review segment. I have this day, and the top stories from this day. It says, Air Traffic Controllers support FG's plan to sanitize aviation sector. Air Traffic Controllers supports FG's plan to sanitize aviation sector. The top story there from this day. Group asks NSC to investigate Justice Yunusa over abuse of power. And then you have Kuku. 1 trillion naira election fund was not dispersed through Amnesty Office. And still from this day, save us from gas flaring. Delta communities cry out. Scrap Almajirin schools system now. Ganduje tells FG. Even the Sultan of Sokoto has also said that Almajirin is un-Islamic. Okay, let's go to Guardian newspaper. And to Guardian, it says, government diverts 813.6 billion naira to fund joint ventures. Still on, that's on Guardian newspaper now. Guardian newspaper, government diverts 813.6 billion naira to fund joint ventures. Payment system records 49 trillion naira transactions as BVN TSA reduce fraud. That's on Guardian. And how I stole my boss's car to attend Valentine party suspects reveal. You know, the interesting thing about Valentine is that when the ceremony or the days come and gone, startling revelation starts coming out. Okay, Emenike Moses left West Ham. Then Nigerian athletes must avoid bad feeding habit to win medals in Rio, says Athletics Federation of Nigeria, still on Guardian. And then we go to the Nation newspaper. From the Nation newspaper we have Jonathan's ADC state's role and 106 million naira gift for PDP chiefs. Jonathan's ADC state's role in 106 million naira gift for PDP chiefs. Okay, let me go through that. I think this is Jonathan's ADC state's role in 10 billion naira gift for PDP chiefs. And then we'll have EFCC begins probe of $2 billion Malabu oil deal. And then tariff, court rules on next stay of execution today. That's on the Nation as well. And then tension in Cannes as Orisha Jaffo quits in July. And then no extension of deadline for UTME, says JAMB. Then finally, on the papers review, we'll look at Leadership newspaper. It says Erufai moves to regulate religious preachings in Kaduna State. That's on Leadership newspaper. Okay. Chibok Girls Ezekwesili urges PMB to fulfill promise. And Ondo has become signature of all eyes, says Governor Mimiko. Still on Leadership newspaper. Obasanjo faults Uganda's election as Museveni wins 5th term. Rivers rerun. Wike alleges plot by DSS Army to arrest PDP leaders. That's all on the papers review segment. We'll take a short break and we'll go straight to our discussion segment on the show. Don't go away.
My country people, una remember Easter Gbedu? Yes, Independent to television and radio don't come again. Oh, this one na meristic sorgarism for papa, mama, brother, sister, pikin. Even that baby wey dey inside belle will never arrive. You dey inclusion for this Easter Gbedu. Hey, gwe. Skibby one, skibby two, skibby three. Don't let them do you take. Come mark a present as a gift to Sakwa for Gate. An additional gift for competitions like gospel singing competition, football juggling, egg raising, filling the bottle, hymn competition, and the star prize. Now, boom! For damn! Shada Gospel Band and DJ Amando. Then they on ground to make you dance like Ikoto. ITV Radio. Una no go kill person, no. The date now Monday 28th March for 2016. The time now 11 o'clock for morning. Venue Unko now ITV Radio Corporate Headquarters for Glass House, Airport Road for Benin City. The gate fees now Ogbele 500 naira for one person. Make I see you there. This Ogbonge program will get support from Univar Institute of Technology for Siloko Road for Benin City.
It's up to us, all of us. The safety of our communities is in our hands. The police need our help and support. Boko Haram threatens our lives, our future, our country. But Nigeria belongs to us. God has blessed us with this rich land. Let us protect her as we protect each other. Report any criminal activity. Call these numbers. Your call is anonymous, and it is vitally important. Your support so far has been critical. Continuing it will make all the difference between a Nigeria of the fearful and a Nigeria of the free. Protect each other, for we are not terrorists. We are Nigerians. A message from the State Security Service.
Well, some security tips there that we all need to adopt and imbibe to make our environment safer for us all to live in. It's still TMI, beautiful Monday morning. I have with me on set already civil society veteran, the executive director of Canvassers for Democracy and Rule of Law, Pastor Olu Martins. Many thanks for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And I also have joining us the self-acclaimed, is it Master's Chairman now?
The voice of the common man.
Voice of the common man. I'd like to welcome Prince Roy. He's a prince, though.
Thank you for having me.
You're just wondering how that mixes up. A prince, a common man. It's okay. Prince, many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. I want us to have an insight into an update on this controversy surrounding the new electricity tariff. A former national, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission said this morning, I saw it in the papers, that the new tariff can't be reversed. Well, before we get to that point, this controversy about the new electricity tariff doesn't make sense in terms of the role the organized labor and some civil society organization have mobilized to say, look, this is unacceptable. Let's begin from the basis. What is the state of electricity generation, distribution, and supply? Is that enough reason for electricity new tariff? And then, of course, you also have, before then, we had this challenge of the fixed charge. So let's look at it from there.
Well, thank you very much. This issue has become topical, and we appreciate the role that the media, especially ITV, as a foremost media station, not just in Edo State, but of course in the South-South, how you bring topical issues on board. You'll recall that about 2 years ago, as civil society activists, we hit the streets for about 6-7 days on a daily basis, asking or demanding that the issue of fixed charge was dealt with. Our reasoning was, in life, you pay what you consume, pay as you go, as the case may be. So it didn't make sense to us that whether you had electricity or not, somebody was saying that at the end of the month, you were going to pay a minimum of $750 for fixed charge, depending on the size of your house. And our argument was that it was a disincentive, because what it meant was that if all of us were going to be paying a fixed charge, whether there was electricity or not, at the end of the month, something was coming into the purse of the electricity people that were supposed to distribute the electricity. So it didn't make sense to us at that time. So we argued, and the campaign started from here. But soon afterwards, it snowballed into a national campaign. The argument for some of us, including myself, was that I didn't have a problem per se with increase in tariff. I had a problem with fixed charge. And my argument was this: if you increased my tariff and you remove fixed charge, I am at liberty to control my consumption. Because we have had instances where people traveled for 6 months and they turned off all their appliances. They even removed the fuse and put it in their bag and traveled with it. Only for them to come back, and then somebody says, you've been gone for 6 months, but because we didn't know, you are going to pay a minimum of $750 for 6 months. So when you go to vend, the first thing they do is that they remove that which you are owing, all right? And then, so we felt that didn't make sense, to us. But if you tell me that you're increasing my tariff, what it means is that when I travel, or even if I'm leaving my house for 6 hours and there isn't going to be anybody at home, I can off my appliances. If my fridge is cold enough, I can remove the plug from the socket and make sure that for that 6 months, I am not consuming 1 watt of electricity. I want to be able to be in charge of what I consume at that level. That was the argument for some of us. So when we heard that fixed charge had been abolished, we were glad to say, at least that seeming Shylock tendency, at least that had been dealt with. Then came on the issue of increase in tariff by about 45%. which now brought about the new line of arguments and all that. And I'm asking, my own reasoning is this: as we speak now, there's a value chain. On this value chain are the generating companies, GENCOs. Then there's the transmission companies, the TRANSCOs. Then there's the distribution company, which you all know.
The DISCOs.
The DISCOs. Now, GENCO, the government is part of GENCO. As a matter of fact, apart from Kainji, there are gas turbines, most of whom are owned by GENCO. Transmission companies, the high tension wires, have not been privatized. The distribution end of it have been privatized. So when you pay money, you don't pay money just for the distribution companies. You pay money to the transmission companies, which is government. You pay money to the generating companies, 90% of which is owned by government. All right? And there's no, in this line, in the value chain, there are no subsidies anywhere. So we are asking people to say the energy sector has been privatized. Go and, first of all, invest in it, make your profit, but apart from making your profit as a distribution company, send our own to also as transmission company and as generating company. Okay. In that value chain, there's no subsidy. And in basic, simple economics, I will always transfer the burden to the consumers. It's just like private education, private universities. You cannot ask the private universities to charge XYZ. What you can do is to have your own government-owned university. So there are everywhere in the world essential services. One of it is education. Another of it is health. A third one of it is the power sector. And all over the world, government takes a portion in the value chain and subsidize it so that people who are doing business, whose major aim is to make profit, do not transfer the whole of that to the consumer. Because who is an investor? The man who, the chairman, as we call him, of this organization, is an investor. He doesn't work here. Because there are 4 levels. There's first of all the level of the employee. And I'm sorry to say, that's the level that you belong to. Then there's the employer. The man who brings all of us on board. Supposing I also work here. Yeah. Then there's the business owner. The business owner must still go to his business and see how he runs. The guy who owns the business in Mission Road. But then there's the investor. In all of the 3 levels, they all work for money. But at the level of the investor, the money works for him. Mm-hmm. So what he does is that he has a chunk of money. He puts it into a business. He expects 2 things. First of all, if the business is viable, I want ROI1, return off investment. If I put in $1 billion, there's a gestation period. I'm saying, can I get my $1 billion back in 5 years, in 6 years, in 7 years, in 8 years, in 9 years? And then after I now get my investment back, even if I don't make profit, I've gotten it back. But after I now get my ROI1, can I get my ROI2? That's return on investment, which is profit. It is when you can make profit from a business that attracts investors. But if a business or a sector is not profitable, there is no how that you can ask investors to come. And if investors don't come in, we will still be at the phase that we're in. So my own argument is this. If you don't want the DISCOs, and I'm telling you that when the DISCOs collect money, they collect it for both the TRANSCOs and the GENCOs. The TRANSCO is owned by government fully. The GENCOs, part of it is owned by government. And do you know that the state government also have major shares in the distribution companies? So you're asking to say, collect money, but give us our own. And in the whole of this, you do not subsidize. So the people who collect money transfer the burden naturally to the consumer. So if government is saying, government in its wisdom, that's NEC. What is NEC? Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Company is owned by government. So the regulator says, in order for the value chain, for the guys who put in money to be able to get their return on investment, or their return off investment, return on investment, let's do an increase. However the increase is. If the people are now shouting, what I expect to do is that the one that government profits, government sells power to the distribution company. The distribution company sell to you and I, and then the profit they send back to government. So if government doesn't want the burden to be transferred to the people. We would expect that government will subsidize what they sell power to distribution companies, or even subsidize the gas that is used to run the turbine. He doesn't do any of that.
He's just folding his arms.
He folds his arms,
Okay.
collects his own profit. And then you say that the people who put in money into the investment should not make profit from it. I mean, it's simple business mathematics. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, let me pause it here, Pastor Lou Martins, and bring the voice of the masses in here. Roy Riverbo, the impression given by some other analysts on this matter is that you remove the fixed charge with this hand, and then you put it back with this hand, you know, through the new electricity tariff. What does this mean to you?
To me, that's the reason why when my brother and a friend there was talking, I was just nodding my head, you know, for a very long time. This is the first time we'll be drawing the same rope on this issue, you know, because we cannot...
On many issues.
For a very long time, this is the first time we will be traveling on the same journey, you know, because you gave a very beautiful presentation about it, you know. My own concern is not the issue, you know. I'm carefully observed. You recall when the issue of the fees charge, you know, it was really a burden on all of us. You know, some of us, I remember personally, I was also in the street in that, on the street in that struggle that we don't need fees charge, you know. Well, I was directly affected by one of the properties I managed, you know. The person was, yes, he was no guard there. I said, okay, let me do some little renovation. For about 7 months, nobody was there, you know. All of a sudden, they brought a bill and said that you must pay this. I said, for 7 months? I said, yes. I was really very disturbed. And I said, well, if we continue like this, we will not go to anywhere. Service you did not render, you want me to pay? And I said, you just look at a mechanic and on the streets. If you have a fee charge, but no matter how you drive your car, the man believes that you come every month to come and settle him. Therefore, why will he want to labor more? No, that was the arrangement then that I was also comfortable with. But we see him back on the streets, and at the end of the day, we were reassured. And now they have come up with another dimension to it. And this dimension is a dimension I also believe that will serve as a panacea to the issues on ground. Because we must call a spade a spade. If you record, you record the telecommunication sector, you know, when we're just coming on board there. I remember the NITEL was truly owned by government. That was one of the protests we heard there that NITEL must remain, you know. In the process of we protesting, the man was very close to me there, was also working, a very powerful man in the NITEL. So you call some people, let them, the man brought out the phone. I was using another line to call, and I said, what are you talking about? You mean you cannot use the NITEL line to call? He said, no, let me use I don't want to mention that line so that I will not be advertising for that line, you know. So then I begin to wonder, I said, man, you mean you cannot use where you are working, you are not proud of it? Then when I got home that day, I was thinking, we cannot continue like this in this country. Let's call a spade, and that is where we find ourselves now. I know the pay, you know, I know, but if you look at the beginning of the power sector, at the time, you recall what we're paying. We're paying about 50 naira per second, a minute, telecom sector to make call. You know, at the time, some persons need to go and buy their SIM at the rate of 30,000, 50 something. And I struggled I bought my first SIM at 11,000, you know. But as of today, they are begging you not to collect SIM. Because we were able to say, Nigeria were able to be. You recall there was a series of protests. People were saying, no, NITEL must remain. But gradually, it is, if we want this, the electricity sector to be opened up, let us maintain this regime. Let us allow them. I'm looking at it from the business angle, as it was allowed. You know, before, if the market is open, many investors cannot come in. Definitely, in another 5 to 10 years, they cannot be telling us to pay what we are paying now. Definitely, the price will drastically reduce. You know, I know there is a pay we are going to bear. Definitely, yours sincerely will also be affected in this struggle in terms of the bill. But I can assure all of us that in another 5 to 10 years, we will go down. What we now should be talking about and really bothered is we should look at how we should conserve the energy. I can confidently tell you at the time in my apartment, I was running every month 8,000 plus. I was really very bothered. And I made a complaint to them. You are overbilling. They said, no. Then I was serious. So let me look at it. Then I call my family together and say, well, anytime we are leaving in the morning, we have to off everything until evening when we come back. We tried that. And the bill in the next month drastically reduced to about 4,000 plus. I said, wow, we can do more better than this. I must tell you, in the night, after listening to news, midnight we want to sleep, I look at some of the lights that are not favorable. I off it. I go to the room where I see nobody is there. I go and off everything there. These are cultural orientation that I was not used to. I just leave everything will be running. I'm not bothered about that. But now, nobody is telling me to go and do that. As I'm doing it, my price continue to get down every month. And I'll be enjoying it. I'm using this as a platform to tell Nigerians to look at that direction.
Energy conservation.
Yes, we just need to conserve them. But so now you see that the increment you have, even look at 45, you are still maintaining that level you find yourself. Because if you look at it in terms of the wastages that have happened over the year, the big men in the town, they have transformers, special transformers allocated to them. And the power that is even allocated is too much, they cannot use it. Power that's supposed to be given to many people in the community, one just hold on to it. That's the issue I look at it. I do a very wide evaluation about this issue. I carry research, and I call some stakeholders together, and I say, let's look at this issue on its merit. We cannot continue to say because we want to protest, we continue to protest. I have been a part of the struggle saying, we will continue to protest, but we must look at the long run. Okay. At the end of the day, what can we make of all this thing? Okay. We can continue to share, we can continue to protest. The labor leader can continue to judge and say no. But we must also look at ourselves now and say, the power sector, we have a very sad example we can learn from the telecom sector. Therefore, there is no need for we to even be. There was a time in this country, before you watch television, you wait till 4 o'clock. Because we only have one. You wait until all your telling will be making some noise. But now, you can monitor like this, you can watch your television because the government deregulated the sector. And many investors came. And that's the reason why we have ITV today. Yeah. When I was going on, nothing like this. You have to wait. You tell me before 10 o'clock, you cannot watch it. If you are bored in the night, you say, let me go to my living room and watch. You cannot watch it. But now, the orientation is, if you are talking this, and some persons who were not born there, if you are telling them, they will be thinking that you are lying, But the records are there, that these are things we pass through. Yeah. Therefore, the power sector, I'm appealing to Nigerians. I know it's a bomb, but let us make a commitment to ourselves. Because I was reading a book yesterday on the life and time of the Singapore leader, Lee Kuan Yew. And I found where he was building a foundation for that country. The wife would go to the market, people were stoning the wife. People were stoning the children. At that time, there was a time where the wife had resort to wearing masks because of the structure the man was putting. You are too harsh on us. Now, the people there, they are celebrating that until tomorrow. They will continue to celebrate him because there are a series of apologies they have written to him. People have been apologizing to the family, And now, after the man, at the time when he was old, people now said, no, give us your son to come and preside. And that is what's happening in Singapore. Okay. Therefore, Nigeria, we have to look at that direction. Right. We will get it right.
All right. Let me come to Lou Martins. There have been some questions directed to, especially the discos, that perhaps they really don't have the financial muscle to do business. And maybe there are questions around how they even got the businesses that they are running. When you don't have a capacity to do a business, then you always will find yourself in this kind of situation. I don't know what your take is on this. Yeah.
Well, fortunately, I can perhaps confidently consider myself as a consultant to a very large extent on the power sector because there are certain understandings that I have and I've dealt along these lines, for a while. Let me quickly, before I get to that, the question that you asked him, that they reinvented it. In every business, there is the viability of the business. Can I break even? Remember that I have argued that if government will not subsidize, what it means is that along the value chain, you must pass the burden to the consumer. So for me, the problem I see here in the whole of this sector is government. There's running cost of any business. Maybe I'm even talking, there's running cost of every home, like he was talking about now. There's school fees to be paid, there's house rent, there are a whole lot of things.
Utility bills.
A whole lot of things. You're not looking at the fact that, what does my salary cater for this running cost? If your salary does not, you now have what you call multiple sources of income. In other words, if you know, you are a media person. If you put at MC join, small Isuzu go there. Even if that Isuzu is for petrol, it documents something. So for every business, you must also look at what is the viability of this business. It's called market survey, or if you like, it's called SWOT analysis. And let me quickly just do in a few minutes a business model for you. First of all, in every business, there's CAPEX. There's CAPEX, there's OPEX, there's ROI1, there's ROI2. CAPEX is capital expenditure. In other words, how much did I move into it? How much did I buy the license for? Do not forget that in the time of telecoms, the licenses were sold for 250 million naira, $1 million for one. When they first of all came out, it was at 125 million. But there were several people. Government had a choice. Do we ballot or do we auction? If you ballot, it means that if all of us wanted and it was just one, they will put Sonny Duke's name, they will put Olumartin's name, they will put Roy's name, and they will roll that thing, yes or no. Just 1 year, since there's just one license. But what they can do is that they can increase the price to drive me away. Maybe they realize that Sonny Duke has more money, so they drive me away, they drive this guy away, then you buy it at a higher amount. If you must do your business, you must make profit, that's what happens. That's why at some point in time to make a call was 50 naira. And if you bought credit of 1.5 or 750, which was the least, the expiration date was 1 week. Because they had to give the guys the opportunity to recoup. Now, having said that, there's CAPEX. Now there's operating costs. Utilities, salaries, overhead and all that. Is when you put these two together, you are now asking yourself, is this business, what I'm charging, is it viable enough for me to be able to have the return of investment and the return on investment? So if you say you have removed fixed charge, and part of the agreement is a multi-year tariff system, part of the agreement is that you will have the opportunity to increase tariff in order for you to be able to break even. The question is, at the tariff, can they break even? If they cannot break even, two things. Either they increase or government subsidizes. Or government stops to collect its own that it is collecting through its GENCOs and TRANSCOs. But if government is collecting its own profit, it's collecting its own from along those, and there's no subsidies, naturally, these people will look at what it takes to break even. So if we must have electricity, and we must have investors, then we must allow, and we say it must be market-driven, we cannot run away from increase in tariff, except government subsidizes or government stops to collect its own. With regards to the viability of whether these people have the money or not, I don't hold brief for them. But by the analysis I have given to you, you will be able to ask yourself, even if you were a businessman and a business is not viable, would you put your money into it? You can't put your money into it. And if a business is not viable, we have the challenge of the fact that we will not have investors. And if you don't have investors, there will be no competition. And if there's no competition, it cannot be market or price driven, because when something is market driven, you have the options of the price coming down after a while. Take for instance, if I have solar technology and I can do what is called embedded energy. In other words, instead of supplying it to the national grid, I say, okay, I have the technology, I bring the technical partners from China, and I in Edo State I generate, for instance, 100 megawatts of electricity. I want to sell it to BEDC. I must make my profit from it. So I sell it in such a way that when BEDC sells, I will make my own profit from it. The only thing that can happen is the government can now say, instead of selling it to BEDC at 1 naira, sell it to them at 50 kobo. Okay. That 50 kobo, we will bear the cost of it because it's an essential service like education and health. Yeah. But if government does not do that, people cannot put their money, into it. Can I also tell you that some of the challenge that is there now is NEC. There is a ceiling. NEC, to a very large extent, has told some of these discos, this is how much you can invest into the business. I can tell you for free, for instance, that at Eco Disco, for instance, they are not allowed to put more than 6 billion naira per annum into the business. Because they are saying that the more money you put into the business, the more you want to recoup, and the more burden the consumers, would bear. Yeah. So it's not. So when Fashola came in, Fashola said, how can you tell an investor This is how much he can put into it. If you seal it, what it means that they can't get enough meters. Yeah. If you seal it, what it means that they cannot get enough transformers, even if they want to get it. And I can tell you for free that that is exactly, what is happening. The problem here, my brother, is that we are at a crossroad. We want to run this thing as a business, but we're asking the investors not to make profit. Fancy government coming to say, ITV, this is how much you must charge for advertisement. And the owner of the business and say, look at what it costs, what it takes to run ITV. Because sometimes when I'm coming, I mean, what is that? Generator is working. And that generator doesn't look like 25 kVA. For me, it sounds something a lot more than that by the sound. You have told him, this is how much it takes to run. The man says, no, that is how much you can do it. That is how much you can do it. What the man can do is the fact that he can look at, if he says, charge it at half of the amount, he now looks at the balance. How do I get the balance? He says, you know what? If your balance is 50 million, if your profit was 50 million, make 25 million, I, as giving you a ceiling, I will give you the balance of 25 million. Otherwise, you must allow me to charge. So along the value chain, government has abdicated its responsibility of subsidizing it. Since it is a social, it's an essential service. If government is not subsidizing, you are asking the investors along the value chain to charge whatever they can to make their profit.
Run the business.
It's just simple business.
All right, Roy, it looks like from this analysis, government is a problem, government is a solution. But it looks like they just left everything bare to be at the masses, or so to speak, the consumers, are at the mercy of those who are running the business, from the analogy that Olumartin just gave.
The last government, they lack the capacity to implement some certain decisions they even have of now. Like the issue of the single treasury account. This is a policy that was formulated by the last government. I've been on there. But the capacity to implement it was an issue. That is what it's also talking about, this sector. You understand me? Just a few, on Saturday, when we were meeting the commoners, this was one of the issues I also raised, that we are not going to be supporting those who are protesting against these things. And one of the boys rose up his hand, told me, he said, no. He said in our elementary government, we were told that NEPA is also a part of the public corporation. It was listed, therefore it's a social amenity. You understand? I said, you are right. When we were in secondary school, we were told that it's a social amenity. But now, it's now private driven. The reason why they are there is that they want to make profit. I said, let's call it spade. The reason why government even decided to say we want to privatize is because they found out that at the time they can no longer manage it. And to get the records, they say, let's privatize it. And now that was the reason why the investors were given opportunity to come in. And we have argued within ourselves that the problem of Nigeria as of today, we must get it right. And that is the power sector. If we get power sector right, any other thing will follow. Therefore, we should allow them, give them some certain time to let us look at what they can achieve. We are in this country. We are looking at, we are giving them 10 years now. We want to monitor them for another 10 years and see what they can do. Because I'm aware, a man who has presided over more than 100-something thousands who don't have job. And any time they meet, what we discuss is that if Nigeria can get this power sector right, that there will be job opportunity. The woman at the street the woman you even see that are not the street selling akara need the lights. The Faulkners need the lights. Therefore, there is nobody in this country who don't need it. Therefore, we must look at the direction, how can we really get it right? Because we have been in the old order. The old order has not favored us, where it was just not different from Father Christmas arrangement. And now we have even discovered now in this part of the world again, Father Christmas is no longer free. Typical example from ITV, to see Father Christmas, therefore that will tell you.
Roy, you're not serious. You're not serious with what you just said.
But those are the issues.
Because Father Christmas will give you a gift. He doesn't have a factory. Father Christmas will buy things.
But it's the same thing. You are not agreeing with
anyway.
Father Christmas must survive.
Yes.
You understand me? For Father Christmas to survive, there are something into a center. You understand me? We must look at, in managing any organization, you must know how to cut everything so that we should be able to meet up. I have discovered something. If you think your beer is too much as an individual, you look at the level of beer. You're taking beer taking test of your consumption of alcohol. If it costs you every weekend, you do 1,000 beer, you should be able to say, well, let me do 250. If when you go to buy beer, they sell at 500, 300, why not go and not the street and go and do the one of white?
Or drink pami.
Or as the case may be, since you just want to hide. Therefore,
all right.
When you go reducing your number of your concubines, because just allow your money just before you aggregate all this into yourself, you will see you are making a good impact about your life. Therefore, the issue of the tariff management, the increment, just essentially, I'm in total support they should increase it. Now that they have the fixed charge is no longer there. Now, you cannot monitor, you can decide to say, this month, I don't want to have business with these people. I want to run on my generator. Or for some of us, yes, or inverter. Or for some of us, during the dry season, you know that, oh, I don't even need fan. I don't need this here again. This month, I don't have business with NEPA. Then you now say, if you want to listen to news, thank God some of our phone now cannot do that. If you also have a good neighbor, you can say, help me to charge my phone. You understand me? But something you now see, now you are not very proper to understand the things are on ground.
Okay.
It's not about protest.
All right.
It's about how can we really get this right.
All right.
To get this right, we must look at that time. I listened to the minister of the minister. I saw the pain in him. I saw the desire for him to make change. I saw when I look at him, he said, this is a bitter pea. We just need to bear. You understand me? I'm calling on Nigerians. We just need to bear with these people. Let's give them 10 years. Let's see what they can do. I can assure Nigerians, in another 2 to 4 years, you will now see more investors are coming in. It's not necessary that because you stay in Benin, you must use the BEDC. If you see the price of the BEDC is higher, you can just say, look, you cannot connect me again.
All right, just on the verge of we're going straight now we'll take a short commercial break before we bring you the news, but just a last word from Olumartin. Two quick things.
Yes.
One, that meters free was supposed to be provided. That hasn't been done. Even the light is not there. So just quickly, in 1 minute.
First of all is that, like I told you before, a process is ongoing now where the ceiling for investment or the ceiling on investment is removed. So that you can put in more money and provide, meters. But when you even say free, it's not free because there is the cost of providing meter, which must be made at some point in time. So in consonance with what he has said, there are challenges in the power sector. Just like the telecom sector has sorted itself out in the next 10 years because there was a flexible tariff in terms of what the consumers will pay, which made investors to come in. If we do not want to pay more, then government must subsidize. If government does not subsidize along the value chain, Nigerians do not have a choice but to pay more. So for me, my anger in quote is directed to government. Government, like he said, government is the problem. Government is also the solution.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Pastor Olumartin and Rory for your thoughts on this new electricity tariff controversy. It's the TMI. We'll be joining Sharon Ajayi, just back from a long holiday. You need to see her. She looks holiday. We're back with you after the news. Stay with us. And we'll have a short message coming, a commercial before the news. Don't go away.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Chi.
Did you know with Hollandia evaporated milk, you get a whole lot more? You get 25% more milk than 170 grams. Go for more. Go for Hollandia evaporated milk, 215 grams pack. Hollandia evaporated milk, 25% more, same price.
House of Chi.
clean and rodent-free in order not to fall victim. Good morning and welcome to the news update. For this time, I am Sharon Ajay. Against the backdrop of the increase in the exchange rate of the dollar to naira, some residents and traders in Benin City have expressed concern over the multiplier effect on some food items. Adesuwalato quotes traders and buyers as saying that the exchange rate may lead to devaluation of the naira.
The rate of dollar continues to increase. The effect is gradually taking its toll on traders and consumers. Some market women complained over the hike in prices of food items, which they attributed to the exchange rate of the dollar to the naira. They said a bag of rice, which before now goes for 10,000 naira, is now sold for 14,000 naira. An average size chicken, which is sold for 1,200 naira, is now sold at the rate of 1,500 naira.
The changing of dollar, it don't increase our market. Because we will carry money market and not the rich will buy anything again.
It transport the dear. This okpolo wey we dey buy 4,000 for rubber of rice, 6,000 I will dey buy am now. Nobody will not know say something dey cost.
Today I decided to come by myself. And two when I come, changes on the high price of everything. Times 2, times 3, going to times 3.
We used to buy bag of rice 10,000 naira, 8,000, from 8 to 10. Now they are selling 14,000 now. A rubber of rice now is now 750. The cup of rice is now 70 naira. Now we don't even sell as before. When they price, then we go.
Now basin of garri 5,000. Plantain before dozen 3,000. Now dozen of plantain 4,000, 5,000. Transport when you they pay 1,000. Now 3,000, 4,000. They say make we change na dollar. Dollar me no
as I go take sell again. I beg. Make government talk to people, make the thing come.
Reacting to the issue of the exchange rate of a dollar, which is now being sold at the rate of 395 naira, a university lecturer and a clergyman noted with concern that in any economy of the world, there are issues that determine the well-being of the economy of a country, like the exchange rate of the country's currency, the inflation rate of the prices of goods and services, and the interest rates. They described Nigeria as a global country which exports only crude oil and as such manufactures other agricultural produce. They urged the federal government to invest more on the manufacturing of homemade goods and address the issue of job creation.
Any country who wants to grow economically must invest upon themselves. The only solution, since we have somewhat depended on the oil, and now the price of oil have fallen, what Nigeria should look now is to invest on agriculture and the other medium through which our economy can grow.
The inflation rate in Nigeria is so bad. We bought a loaf of bread. The standard loaf of bread is 150 naira on sliced bread. Then when you come back next week, they say, dollar don't increase or whatever. The price goes to 170 to 200 and so on. Manufacturers are complaining that the interest rate in the bank, the interest rate in Nigeria is one of the highest in the world.
President Muhammadu Buhari at various fora has insisted that he would not devalue the naira. Adesuwa Lato reporting.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared former Senate President David Mark as the winner of the Benue South Senatorial District rerun election. Senator Mark polled a total of 84,192 votes, while his main challenger, Daniel Onje, had 71,621. Senator Mark won in 5 local government areas, while Mr. Onje won in 4. The result was declared by Professor Ishaku Enigi. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board says it would not create any special center for the 2016 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. The UTME, which will be computer-based test, CBT mode or through, is expected to begin on Monday, February 29. In a statement by Head Media and Information of the board, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, the attention of the board was drawn to protest by some alleged prospective candidates in Edo and Lagos states over the closure of the board's registration portal in preparation to the UTME. While saying that the board sympathizes with the plight of these prospective candidates, the board further stated that it could not allow candidates to register perpetually, adding that it has a timetable and it adheres strictly to it. It noted that it was to allow tertiary institutions to begin admission processes early. The National Broadcasting Commission says it will promote Nigerian broadcasting industry's contents at the 22nd edition of Cable, Broadcast and Satellite Conference scheduled for March 8 and 10 in Dubai. Deputy Director Public Affairs of NBC, Mrs. Maimuna Jimade, made this known in Abuja. She said the Commission has signed a memorandum of understanding with Transatlantic Media Company to maximize new opportunities in the broadcast media as the world adapts to digital content delivery. According to her, NBC, in furtherance of the drive towards the digital switchover, has come up with some initiatives to assist the industry, especially content producers and content providers in the country. Mrs. Jimade, however, said that this time around there would be a Nigerian pavilion sponsored by NBC where professionals in the broadcast industry would discuss business with broadcast professionals all over the world. And that's it on the news update for this time. To join us at 9:30 for more. Good morning.
Independent television, certainly the best.
The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on This Morning on ITV, we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us. Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television. This Morning on ITV TMR. Join us.
Thank you for joining us on the show this lovely Monday morning. I hope you've been enjoying our package for today. We're taking it to another level with our discussion now, focusing on the Edo State governorship polls 2016. The major talking point is on the issue of the party primaries, power of incumbency, and then pedigrees of aspirants. Across political divides, many people have indicated interest at one point or the other to go for that position. But there are undercurrents that needs to be analyzed so we can have a free, fair, credible primaries. Some say that's what is needed for the best amongst the best to emerge, someone who can actually take the state to the next level. Well, I'll be having two panelists, member of my panelists, to discuss this issue. But so far, I have with me in the studio Lukman Akemoke. Many thanks for joining, Lukman.
Yeah, welcome.
And Barrister Luke Okun is also another panelist, but is yet to get here. I'm sure he'll be here any moment from now. We start off with Lukman and hoping that Barrister Luke gets here. There's just so much similarity between two names. Lukman, Luke, that's just on the side. But the concept of intra-party democracy seems to be the heart of constitutional democracy, as it were. Can we build on that from your perspectives?
Yeah, I think like the last time we spoke about this, I told you that I approach the issues on the basis of the fact that the politics is evolving. That is the way I still look at it.
Okay.
Now, in the current intra-party politics, never in time in life of Nigeria has the issue of intra-party democratic maturity played out the way it is now, especially what happened in 2015. So, in my own case, I think it is actually a welcome development, a situation where
just go on.
A situation where it is the people in the party that determine who is to fly their tickets. And we have seen scenarios where the issues of imposition by people who are powerful have led to those parties losing the elections.
Okay.
When you look at what happened in 2015 contest in PDP, the problem they had in PDP, for instance, was because the whole build-up to the election was a Jonathan thing. And a lot of people say, no, let us sit down, let us do these primaries, so whoever emerges, all of us will support. That's why I left to, but because people insisted that Jonathan must be a sole candidate, that led to some of these people going away from the party.
And that impacted the party?
That impacted on the party.
Okay.
In Edo State today, I just hope that it will not happen in APC. That is my prayers. Because currently, the way things are going, we need to be very careful because the PDP is very strong. The last meeting they had, in the South-South meeting, the 5 governors said that they have to take Edo State. Yes.
So you're threatening by that? That's what it means?
That's one thing. That's one thing. We need to be sure of that.
Okay.
Now, in trying to, these are my personal opinions.
Absolutely.
In trying to get a candidate for my party, APC, there are 2 key principal things that you will need to put into cognizance.
One, the leadership capability of the person. When you're talking about leadership capability, there are criteria: integrity, experience, ability to perceive, perceptive ability of people. Then the other one is political correctness. It is not enough for you to say, I have schooled in Harvard, I have schooled here. No. How are you able to connect with that woman on the street? How are you able to connect with that driver along the ring road? And for me, I think these are even more important than the capacity to govern.
Okay, I'll pause you there. We'll look at these points that you just raised, one after the other, in the course of the discussion. We also have joining us in the studio a Senior Special Assistant to the State Governor, Frank Omobode. Frank, many thanks for coming on the program. Of course, Vice Luke Okun will join us in the course of the show. Frank, intra-party democracy seems to be the focal point as we move close to primaries in the 2016 governorship election. Why, in your opinion, do you think people seem to have some misgivings about party primaries? Let's take you on that.
Yes, it's quite clear that there will be intra-party activities because the determinations, most times, for people to always run after anything that will give them personal gain, personal interest, personal aggrandizement. You find this inter-party, cross-carpeting and all that, especially when it's coming close to an election period. It's common in this country because of our huge urge for material wealth, because of the capacity of our inability to be satisfaction. You know, we are always so, carried away by what we can gain, not what we can actually put in for the people. Nigerians was already going to a place where it would have failed completely as a country, based on the legacies that were set by the past governance of this country. They never planned the future of this country. So there's nothing to actually hope for in this country. We just thank God for churches who have prayed for this country. If not, Nigeria would have failed. Because there's no plan at all for Nigeria. Because when a government leaves an office, you begin to discover so many things have gone wrong. And the government is sitting on this abnormally, on these irregularities, illegal activities, extortions. So the quest, for further materials gain and all that leads to some of all these cross-carpeting defections that you see in parties when it's coming to an election. Because they are just like that, like a pendulum swing. They are just moving. They are just watching. They are just watching. It must not be so, because this country belongs to us, and Nigeria must succeed. This country is blessed with so much endowment.
Some people say most of such movements, defections, cross-carpeting, is caused by leadership of the parties who would not allow internal democracy to thrive.
Yes. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Let me give you an example of something. As far as I'm concerned, as someone who holds integrity in a very high esteem, if anybody should cross-carpet, it's not because I'm in APC now. From APC to whatever party, the person has lost his focus. Because the party APC and the governance that he has led within the state has demonstrated some level of credence and financial prudency. The government have shown that you can make a difference. You see, this thing is common with us in Edo State, where we don't celebrate what is good. We continue to castigate. Whenever you are doing what is good and people does not support it, you don't have the courage to do more. And what the comrade governor has been doing, people just have to support it. People just have to praise it. We are just full of people that does not know how to appreciate anything in this country. Until the person leaves power, we begin to regret. This man has set up strong legacies. This man has made substantial investment in this state that is not going with him to anywhere. These are multi-billion naira investment in Edo State, in Benin City. Roads, infrastructure, health facilities. He would have done it in a very disgusting manner, but the man wanted to do it in a worthwhile and international standard manner, not minding the funds that it will cost. Okay. So at the end of the day, you find people still criticizing the same government, still criticizing the same party, just because some of these people, during the course of implementation of some of these great infrastructures, they were not carried along in their pocket kind of thing, and they are aggrieved. So they are now looking for even the worst party they want to join, just to make sure that the party wins. Or some of them leaves this party, leaves APC, so that their attention can be drawn, the government attention can be drawn, that this person is leaving, quickly call him, so that he will get something. So they are just leaving not because they have a purpose for living. They just want to live to create an attention for themselves.
Okay. Let me pause it there. Let me pause it there, Frank. And just try and stay on course in terms of the focus of our discussion. 2016 governorship election, party primaries. We're looking at power of incumbency, and then we're looking at pedigrees of aspirants. Against that background, you have set the tone with your own description of what has been done in industry in terms of impact. Is that a factor to be considered in who becomes what in the race for governorship, particularly using the APC as our model?
Well, I am surprised that there was a deviation from what my brother here was positing. What we are talking about is intra-party politics.
Yeah.
Now, in APC, where I belong to, where he belongs to, we are talking about how do APC, for instance, bring out the best candidates. That is one. Probably if there's a PDP member here, he might also be talking on how do they bring out the best candidates. For me, as a patriotic APC member, I believe that in trying to search for a candidate that is going to fly the ticket, the number one thing we consider is the political correctness of that candidate and the political correctness of the party decision. Let me tell you something. In the current dispensation, if we are to be fair in APC, the power left Benin, Edo South to Edo North. If we are supposed to be fair, it's going to go to Edo Central. But because of political correctness, if we feature a candidate from the Central and the PDP features one from the South, we will not get it correct, and we might face an election where we lose it. So in the area of political correctness, the APC is looking the way of Edo South. Now, that should be extended to the candidates. In trying to get the candidates, it is not enough for one person or two or a group of persons to decree a candidate into existence. There are two critical areas, as I said, the leadership capability and the political correctness of the candidate. One of the major things that helped the comrade governor to succeed in this state today is his political correctness, his ability to be in touch with the common man. He was popular, he was just coming in from the labor. He knows the intrigues, he knows how to connect with the poor, the wretched of the earth. So then the Grace Group that time and Labour Party and co coalesced into AC, and at the end of the day, they now searched for him. I said, oh, this man has capacity to win elections. It was not mostly based on whether he attended Harvard, whether he attended Oxford, no. But once the perception of the poor man on the street is with you, the ability to gather the right people, the management, to deliver on what is deeply rooted in you will come in. And look at today, Oshomele has demonstrated what leadership is all about. He has led the state well. The infrastructural development is revolutionary. I can't name from Edo South to Central to North what he has done. There are so many. The road he has constructed in the 18 local governments and all that. And if you look at it, that was what he formed even during the re-election in 2012. Oshomole won in 18 local governments and he won in 192 wards. Because of what? His projects were masses based. They connected into the hinterland and villages of every place. People think you should just be building all the roads in Benin. But no, he didn't do that. The last time I saw him commissioning I think he's petting a one-time ceramic, which is actually the major producer of ceramic that supplies both Delta and Edo State now. That road that leads to Azagba and that ends in Uyipe, he constructed it. And because of that road, even the manager, the Chinese man, made mention of it, that it was because of that road, the access to raw materials, that is why they were able to site that place.
And then you are saying, yes, in all of this, that for such an individual who has, within this period of time, made these achievements that you highlighted, should not have a say.
No. Let me quickly come in there. From him. Now, I'm trying to give you the background.
Okay.
So, he has done infrastructures, he has renovated the schools and all that. But let us take one fact home. The major legacy of Oshomole is not the road he built. It's not the schools he built. It's not the Benin Water Storm project or the Auchi erosion control. No. The major thing Oshomole will be remembered for in the history of this state in the 100 years to come is the killing, the banishment of godfathers in Edo State. That is what it will. It's just like Buhari. People are saying, why are you not constructing road? The mission of Buhari, the divine mission of Buhari to Nigeria is to kill corruption. That was before Oshomole came, 2-3 people decide who get what.
Okay, let
me quickly finish.
We've talked about that before, but I don't want us to go there now.
In the point, I'll try to build on the point.
Yes.
Now, if by action or inaction in a democratic process, yes, he has the right to have a candidate, but if during the process, on traces by people around him shows that he is desperate at producing a candidate, I don't want to mention names because you don't allow names here, to produce a candidate for the party at all costs, then we are having issues with the issue of opposition, what he has killed. The last meeting we had in Edo North, in fact, in the 3 local governments in Isako, somebody I respect, I will not name him, called all of us together and in quotes said that if I am to choose a governor, I will choose Mr. A. But because the governor has said this, I cannot go against the governor, I have to now go for this particular candidate. To me, that is already an indictment in the selection process.
And that's why I was asking the question a while ago, that if you say this man has done this, has done that, has put this structure in place, and are you now saying with that level of capacity that he has built, that level of leadership that he has attained, he also will not have or does not have the capacity to say, this is the man I think can succeed me and support that person?
No, he cannot.
Okay, let me pause it there and bring Frank in.
No,
Frank,
you see,
Frank, you get the drift of this.
Yes, I already know where we are. The reason I have to chip in because it is good for us to form a basis
for this
to
discussion.
take off.
Yeah.
We must understand that, in the quest for getting a new government on board, we must recognize that there is already a rule that is already set. If we drift from that rule, we start all over again. So now, the comrade governor, certainly as an individual, just like you and I, will always have a pause for someone who is a contestant in the next coming election. The same, the comrade governor, who is actually, a principal in some of the things that we are doing, must definitely have a flair for someone. It is not wrong for him, because he's a human being, to say, okay, in all these people that are coming, I have a soft spot for this. You understand? His decisions have not spoiled anything at all. his decisions have just shown that, look, with all these people that have worked with me, with all these people that I want to contest under my party, I would have loved this one. Just like you and I have one or two people that we love that are contesting. So that is not an issue at all. But the only issue would have been that if he has stopped the process of primaries, if he has stopped the process of using the delegates to ensure, to nominate their aspirants, that is when we begin to cry wolf. The man only just said, I have a soft spot for this. But if on the contrary, that the people say this is who I want, we are ready. He has had several meetings for this. And he has told us quite a number of times that, look, it is possible for a father to have many children and have soft spot for one. But it's still not enough. If he has not said, oh, this one must remain. This one is the way. This one, there is no longer primaries. There is no delegate elections. I have cancelled all. This is what I want to choose. Then you begin to think now that he has brought in godfatherism. Just like what has been obtainable in this state before, where they just meet at midnight, some caliber of people, don't up to 10 of them, and they just make decisions. And there's nothing you are going to do about it. Their decision is final. So that was the actually the
but some people will take you on that to say things haven't changed much in that direction.
Yes.
There are, for them, cases abound to buttress that. But
that
is not the focus. That is not the focus of our discussion. When we want to have that as a discussion, we know how to constitute the panel.
Yes.
Okay, so stay on course. Yeah.
So now, being that as it may, that the governor will definitely have a soft spot for someone, then who is now the candidate? I will be the last person that will ever believe on anyone who does not have a professional touch, who does not have a vocational touch, whether from PDP or APC. If you must vote for a governor in this state, it must be a governor who has grown through the ranks in the profession. A governor, you see, because we'll continue to make mistakes. You just find somebody because he has amassed wealth from governors, for being in governors, for being appointed in governors, and he has never worked. You cannot look through his salaries, his account, and discover the company, the place, the organization, the corporation that he has worked. And he grew in that. How do you measure leadership? That is why we continue to get it wrong here. For the fact that somebody is appointed in a position and he amassed wealth and is coming and say, I want to contest for governor, everybody is hailing him. That man has no credibility. He's just coming for second money. He has stole some money from government. He's bringing it back to contest again, whether in PDP or whatever it is. But that person, this time around, we must get it right. Someone who has a professional standard, who grew through the ranks. Somebody that was employed, maybe as a clerk, he grew as a manager. You can see that you can be able to now look at his life and know this one will be a good leader. Because if he was not good, he won't get to this level. He now go through the ranks and get to the top of the rank. So you can give the trust of the state to that person to manage.
Okay. Now, let me just...
But if we miss it, if we don't do that, and we are just looking at because they're able to throw money around, or they were engaged in one political activities some time ago, but these people have never worked. Where is their... Look, what we need to call for, Edo State, all these aspirants or candidates, as it is, let them come with their CV. Let's ask them, where have you worked? Where did you grow to? Where are your professional background? How did you successfully move from one position in your professional background to the other? So by the time we're able to ascertain that in all these candidates, we just know the best candidate to vote for. Okay. Let us be carried away.
Okay, now there's an issue you raised that I want to take your mind back. And that's the fact that if an interest has been indicated on a particular person, especially if that interest is coming from the state chief executive, for example, within the context of the kind of politics we play in Nigeria, don't you think that would be a major factor in determining who becomes what? That's where the power of incumbency comes in. Let me get your thoughts on that, Frank.
Yes.
I'll come to
you see, just like I have said,
yes,
the process of elections have moved. We have gone past, because it's a secret ballot system. And everyone, just like I've said, I said the governor has not kicked against the delegate elections.
Yeah.
The man just
But they may be told what to do on that day. They may be guided on what to do on that day. They may be guided on what to do on that day. They may be teleguided on that day.
If the governor is able to tailor the character of someone, and it appeals to your heart to say, okay, these directions of the governor is properly harnessed. There must be a reason why the governor wants this. And you go in that direction, you know that is by your conscience.
Okay.
But on your own, on the second thought, because you are going to do a secret ballot this thing, and you on your own, based on the credentials that we have mentioned, you have assessed all the aspirants. Who are those that have grown through the ranks? Who are those that have been successful in their careers? These are the good managers of this state. And based on your casting of your delegate election, because it's secret, you do this. We are not children. If anybody say it was coerced to go and vote that day, you know that person does not know what he's doing.
Let me get
the country has grown beyond.
Let me bring Lukman in here. Yes.
Let me quickly
respond to that.
Disagree with my brother on that.
I expected that.
On the basis of issue of a governor showing interest on one person is one thing. Moving using the state machinery to actualize that is another thing. And let me tell you, we have gotten information, but though I still exempt the governor from this, we have maybe the minders, the handlers of the issues, we have gotten information where people are being threatened, where a leader will call people and say, this is what the governor said. This is what the governor said. People have been called to Benin from I do not. And they were threatened that they will be removed from the list of delegate lists if they don't have the governor, if they don't toe along the governor's line. Just last week here, an aspirant was to go and see people in Oredu, and one of the chieftains locked the party secretariat that said that he should not go there. Because what? When you ask him, he said the governor said. Look at the one I just mentioned. My friend, Felicia Shoaibu, a man I respect so much, coming out to say that if you ask me if I have the capacity,
but you know, we said here before that we don't mention him because the
people
they are not here. Yeah,
coming out to say that if you ask me who the governor should be, I will say Mr. A. But because you are already creating a coffin for imprisonment of that conscience, because it is propagated. If not because some of us have minds of our own. Felicia Shoaibu is a man that whenever he calls me, he convinces me on something, I follow him. If not because
isn't that
this particular incident, let me finish. This particular incident,
isn't that a measure of mentorship, leadership? Isn't that a measure of mentorship
it's not a
and
measure.
leadership?
No,
yes.
No. He has to be convinced. Like what most of the governors say, that is already creating an aura of opposition. If the governor has marketed a candidate to you, it's your responsibility to take the credentials of that candidate and look at that candidate, his political correctness, his capacity to lead. I cannot judge the governor to be wrong on his capacity to lead, but what of the political correctness of that candidate? Where is his home in Benin? Which village does this come from? Before the governor became a governor, I heard some PDP saying that he built his house in Iyamo. It's a lie. He built and completed that house before he became a governor. You are aware of that?
Yeah, that's a matter of another
Yes,
day,
I'm telling you. Before then, he has a house in this village. I have a house in my village. The person in question, where is his village? Where is the house he has in the village? Charity, they say, begins at home. There are candidates inside the party. We are talking about political correctness, who have houses in their villages. When they come home, they have impacted. I am not from your place, but I should be able, before I judge you, I should be able to see what have you done for your people. What empowerment schemes have you done for your people? How do you relate with them? If you cannot sit in your village, let Oshomole go to, if he's going to, before he reaches, when they have information that is coming to Iyamo, that place is like a marketplace. Okay. Even before he became a governor.
All right.
Those are the kind of people we are talking about. All right. So, invariably, we have candidates, we have aspirants who have both leadership, like what he said, my friend said, the leadership capacity to lead and the political correctness.
Which was what you highlighted.
These are these two things. When these two things are meshed together,
capacity to lead and political correctness.
correctness.
Okay, I just want to bring a dimension into this discussion that I believe you guys will share your thoughts on. There are, within the context of Nigeria, there are people who are professional politicians. There are also those who are industrialists who have made their marks in the private sector, and then by dint of hard work, they are coming into politics. Every now and then we say people who have made their marks, we say there are a lot of people, there are a lot of Nigerians who are intelligent, they have what it takes to lead, to deliver, either in the academic world or the business world. And they are not interested in coming into politics. We've expressed concerns along those lines. Now, when some of them take the initiative to come into politics, don't you guys think that we also scare them away when we whip up religious sentiments, ethnic sentiments, primordial sentiments, like some would say is already being done now? We want to attract more people from the private sector into politics. When such people show interest, we scare them away. Do you think we scare them away?
Yes, not really, because politics is in its evolving stage. It's an evolving thing, it's a going concern. If you look at the politics we have today, it's already a refined one compared to what we have before now, previously. You know, politics, people always felt that it is a game, the dirty game. So the people that are...
The clean guys won't come in.
The clean guys won't come in. So the very unlearned, the very rascals took over powers. And that is why this country has suffered for many years. Because we have clean people, we have professional people, expertise, doesn't want to come in because they felt this game is not a good game. But along the line, as the process begins to evolve, people begin to see reasons why they should lead their people in the right way to bring about the actual dividends of democracy, to bring about some level of professionalism, professional touch in the political process. And that is why we begin to have some of these people coming on board, technocrats and people of a very vast professional wisdom and experience. Now, it is at this level now, if we have not actually reached the boiling point, we are still going there. So there is bound to be some level of rejections and refusal for some of these technical people, for some of these technocrats, I mean to say, you know. So it will be time that will tell, that will pave way fully for some of these people to take over governance. That is even then and then we enjoy the governance in this country, in this state. So now they are coming on board, and we thank God for giving them the opportunity to even serve in the capacity that they have served so far. But the state on its own has received them. But when you have technocrats coming in as an aspirant under a particular political party, the onus is now on the leadership of the party to assess these people. You understand? We have close to about 2-3 technocrats, 2-3 professional, experienced people in APC. So the onus is now on leadership to assess these people and actually knows who can really fit in. Because right now, we are still at a very high frequency. The demand is so high. Who can be able to fill in the gap, to be able to meet up with the people. Because it's not about what you know. It's about, you see, for you to govern, to manage a state, you must have some political traits. You must have some political capabilities. It must come in because we are in a political terrain. Because the system has not grown that level where people think professionalism, expertise. We are still at that level where we are still trying to mind some things together. And in putting these professional people into cognizance, in taking leadership of this state, we must be able to measure them together and know, oh, this one have more competence. This one at this time can be able to fill in the gap so that we can reach out to more. So that is the discrepancy that we are having. Because in APC, we have like close to 3 people who are now very professional, who are now very seasoned professional. So the unions on the leadership to look at these people, assess them in detail, so that they can be able to feature them. Okay. But rejection of all these technocrats is not. We have accepted them to come in because we believe that politics is a refined thing. But now we now have the responsibility to assess these people to actually now know who can fit in into this place. Okay. Because the governor has set a large standard. He has set a huge standard for any governance, any government that will come to this thing. Okay. So you have so much to do because the expectation of the people is high. Because the governor has demonstrated that he can use lean resources to bring about these great infrastructures.
All right, let me pause it there, Frank.
Coming must be able to implement infrastructure and connect with the people politically.
All right. Yes, you've been itching to say something. But in addition to whatever you want to say,
I want to say something on that technocrat.
Technocrat I talked about.
For me,
yes,
technocrats are better in the field of appointments.
Okay.
Even if you are a technocrat and you have the vision that you are going to be a politician, that you are going to come for leadership, right from the onset, you connect with your people.
Yes, go on.
The Oshomole we have today started all his career in Kaduna State.
He was never a politician.
He was never a politician.
Yeah.
But he comes home every other weekend to his village.
Coming home every other weekend, does that make you a politician?
No, I'm just trying to tell you.
Yeah.
What matters is he comes home every other weekend, connects with the people, understand the needs of their people, and the things he think he can do for them, he does for them. You have a means of livelihood, but I am sure that you go to a village. You build a house in the village. I left Europe to come back to this country. Even when I was in Europe, I hardly spent my Christmas out there. I come home. I didn't buy it. I have the capacity to bought a house in Europe. But the first house, I built it in the village. Where I come, I sit down, eat local food, discuss with my language, talk to them, connect with the people. So somebody like you, Mr. Duke, if you come to the village and see me with my people, when you go back, you say, this guy, if his people can connect with him like this, it means that if he's given higher responsibilities, he would perform better. We should not hide under the banner of technocracy to remove the political correctness of an individual. If you just jump in from there, wherever you have been hiding, without a house in your place, without a village, without even your language, to jump into the terrain because you are a technocrat and co, you don't have structures, you don't have friends across the state, you don't have people you can make calls to. I have friends in Benin, I have friends in Isha and all that. You just jump in because you're a technocrat and you want to govern. You can't govern the state. It doesn't work. Inside that party, we have technocrats who are even more technocratic than the person in question, but they connect with their people. They speak languages. We go to the villages every other week to drink palm wine, eat black soup, and pounded yam. And this is somebody who has risen to the highest level of the industry.
You're just being subjective rather than being objective in this line of reasoning.
So what we are saying in this instance is that we should not hide under the banner of technocracy. I'm a technocrat. I'm an engineer. I practice out of the country. So you can't even practice out of the country if you are not a technocrat. But I connect with my people. So in this political contestation in APC, we have people who are technocrats, who still connect with their villages, who have set up empowerment schemes, who have set up skills acquisition schemes, and all that. And secondly, I want to also mention something very clear. We can never divorce the ethnocentric feelings in the issue of politics. Today, why some of us have stood up is because the choice was politically incorrect. The governor is my political father. But the choice he made, the reason why some of us say, no, we are not fighting him, is because the choice is politically incorrect. And even in my trying to select a candidate who I will support, I was guided by one issue. A candidate that is not desperate, an aspirant that will not see my governor and say rubbish, that will never insult my governor, Oshomole, an aspirant that he will always bring issues to bear in his engagement. That is the kind of person that we need.
Okay.
Now, in doing that, we should also understand that what led to the success of the Oshomole's government. Let us be candid. 80% of Oshomole's success today. What do I say success? Banishment of godfatherism was because of the support it gets from this kingdom, the Benin kingdom. The Benin leaders of thought, the Benin Forum, the Benin Traditional Council, they stood by him. The first time the Omonoba Ukwu left his palace to go to a government house was during Oshomole's government to show him his support. When the PDP came up, Oshomole is trying to destroy the Oba palace because he's trying to extend the Omonoba says, yes, destroy the palace. And he has been guided, and the Benin leaders of thought gave him. For me, if tomorrow comes and Oshomole is to show gratitude to these people who provided the ground for him to succeed, to banish godfatherism from the state, it is only expected that he will seek their consent, to engage them, not to pick one person who, by all ramifications, is a resistance.
No,
there is a full resistance.
That's your opinion.
No, it's not my opinion.
That's why I said
a
while ago that your thoughts, your opinions, of course, you have admitted that they're entirely yours.
Yes.
But I said a while ago that your thoughts and your opinions expressed, they are subjective rather than being objective, because whatever position that you hold now, some other person has a contrary view to that. I'm sure even Frank
I'm going to say this with facts. I'm going to say this with facts.
On that.
I'm sure that this man is supporting the governor's candidate. Do you know his house? Can you tell me where his house is? Where is his village?
He has not said so.
Where is the village?
No, hold on.
Have you gone to his village?
Hold on.
Have you gone to his house?
Hold on.
These are the questions.
Hold on.
If I want to support you for an election today, they don't say, would I follow you to your village?
You're answering the question. You are the accuser.
No,
you are the
I'm
prosecutor.
saying something.
No, you are not saying anything because
how can I go and meet the governorship aspirant in the hotel?
Hold on. I have the responsibility to ask
the question. Hotel, to be precise.
Just hold on, Lukman. You're taking it personal.
No, it's not personal.
You are.
Where is his house?
Okay, leave that.
Where is his house? Which village does he come from?
Leave that. And I'm sure that at the appropriate time.
How are we going to fit such a candidate? And he says his name is Go. He's Go. You go.
Just hold on. Just hold on, Lukman.
We want to come.
Can you comport yourself? Yeah.
We are going to take this thing down to a donut. We don't agree.
Comport yourself. Why don't you wait? Now, some say people like you are obviously jumping the gun. The primary has not held. All of these things that you're acting on or reacting on is based on hearsay. You said a while ago that we should wait till the primaries. But wouldn't that be too late, Frank?
You see, the primaries, it's a major determinant
of who becomes what.
But
by that time, the damage would have been done, like something?
No, the damage cannot be done.
All right.
Just like I have always said, the people are not fools. Just like he has honed a very strong opinion about the person he wants.
Yes.
A lot of people may have that same mindset. You understand? To support that directions. But you see, I have told you.
Just hold on. No. Lukman, hold on. Just be calm.
Wait.
Just be calm. We're running off now. Yeah.
Now, if the principal, the number one executive, I told you, I say he's an individual, even though he's a governor, decide to say, this person, I have looked around, this person is good to be the next governor, or is my support now for the primaries. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Just like you and I will have someone that will support. I don't see anything wrong with that. But you see...
But is it politically correct?
No, just hold on.
Wait now, just hold on. I don't see anything wrong with
whether
that.
It's political, whether it is politically
correct
or incorrect, he's subjecting.
The only thing that we must do
is to use subjecting your opinion.
plead and engage the government
Can you have?
to change the decision.
He has the floor.
That's what we do.
He has the floor.
But we will not.
He has the floor.
We will not listen to any candidate who insults the governor.
Can you allow him to have his opinion, please?
You see, during the search, during the quest to examine these people that are already online for this contest, we know who is right. The delegate knows who is right. The delegates know what to do. Because I believe the leadership of APC will not want to lose this election to PDP. I believe the leaders of APC, no matter how the manner at which they are going about it now, on that very day will do just cause to what they are supposed to do. So that at the end of the day, we will have a strong ground to face the opposition.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
So in saying that, there is still a very large opportunity for any contestant to preach his credentials, to exchange his campaign, so you understand, so that the people will actually assess them. I have told the people of Edo State that this time around, we are not going to be carried away by how they throw money or whatever support they are getting.
So what you're saying it's too early for Lukman to dissipate his energy.
Yes.
It's too early for him to dissipate his energy.
The people should look at the credentials of these people. In looking at their credentials, they will know the one that is best.
The reason why some of us are agitated is because we have a future. I'm from Edo now. I'm from Itako.
Obviously.
From the same place with the government.
Obviously.
Some of us are looking at tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand? Let us be candid here. Look, if the Benins that control 62% of the votes rejected their son, 100%.
We have not heard that from anybody.
Yes,
you are the one saying that.
In 2012.
You are the one saying that. We have not heard that from anybody.
This is a reality. In 2012, a Benin man contested during a re-election with Oshomole.
Okay.
And he won.
He
was from the PDP.
Yeah.
In fact, the way we were agitated, we thought Abdul Salih versus Ogbemudia case will be reenacted. But the Benin people stood up their ground and he got the highest number of votes from here. Even the ward and the polling booth where the Benin man voted, Oshomole defeated him there.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That this certain set of people called the Benins, they have integrity. They have conscience. Now, what I am expecting, because of political correctness, you are bringing a candidate from Benin. What is expected?
Do we have a candidate here?
We are bringing. Yes,
we don't have a candidate.
The is going to come from Benin.
Hold on.
APC,
yes, we are not disputing that. But we do not have. Hold on. Let's be. We're informing the people. Yes. We don't have a candidate here. We have aspirants.
Yes,
now.
But he showed interest.
Yeah.
Because he showed interest.
That has not made the person a candidate. That person is still an aspirant.
We were expecting that if he's going to choose an aspirant, he should choose the one that the Benin people, a consensus or Benin Forum, Benin leaders of thought, and Benin traditional councils suggest for him after meeting the criteria for leadership.
Okay, so
what we are talking about.
So we will keep
bringing somebody who is the number one enemy of the kingdom.
We'll keep our fingers.
We will not allow it because our two choices are staying away from Etako.
Look, man, we'll keep our fingers crossed till the primaries. If the primaries go contrary to your opinion, I'm sure we'll have grounds to ventilate our views, expend more energy to drive home the agitation. I'm sure we can leave it at that. Yes. Thank you so much for coming, Frank. Thank you for coming. It's TMI, beautiful Monday morning. We'll take a short break for the news. But just before the news, we'll take a quick commercial message. Stay with me on TMI.
Enjoy the beauty of malt and goodness of milk in Hollandia Malt and Milk Drink. Great Niger Shake, Hollandia Malt and Milk Drink.
House of Cheese.
Lassa fever is real. Ensure your environment is clean and rodent-free in order not to fall victim. Welcome to the news update for this time. I am Sharon Ajay. President Muhammadu Buhari will begin a week-long official visit to Saudi Arabia and Qatar for talks with King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and senior officials of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. High on the agenda of discussions between President Buhari and the Saudi monarch is the ongoing efforts by Nigeria and other members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries to achieve greater stability in the price of crude oil exports. In a statement, the spokesperson for the president said that President Buhari would be accompanied by a high-powered federal government delegation. The Minister of State of Petroleum and Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, will be part of the delegation. According to reports, the president will also fly to Riyadh on Tuesday. The president is also scheduled to meet with leading Saudi and Qatari businessmen in Riyadh and Doha and invite them to support his administration's efforts to revamp the Nigerian economy by taking advantage of the great investment opportunities currently available in Nigeria's mining, agriculture, power supply, infrastructure, transportation, communications, and other sectors. President Buhari's other engagements in Saudi Arabia include meetings with heads of international financial organizations and multilateral associations. Before going on to Doha, the president will also visit Medina in Mecca to pray for greater peace, prosperity, and progress in Nigeria. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said that corrupt people pervades the social, economic, political, and religious spheres of the country. He alleged that the people appeared to be united in corruption and would protect the identity of one another. Speaking at the annual dinner of apostles in the marketplace, which had its theme as Change Agents in Nation Building, the vice president, who delivered a keynote address on a new tribe, submitted that the country needed a new tribe of incorruptible men and women to restore lost values and norms. Professor Osinbajo stated that his discussions with his principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, had indicated that finding men of integrity who would be assigned various responsibilities of government was a Herculean task for them. He, however, stressed that there was a need for the new tribe of Nigerians consisting of professionals, businessmen, politicians, religious leaders, and all others who believed that a new Nigeria was possible. Against the backdrop of the increase in the exchange rate of the dollar to naira, some residents and traders in Benin City have expressed concern over the multiplier effect on some food items. Adesualato quotes traders and buyers as saying that the exchange rate may lead to devaluation of the naira.
The rate of dollar continues to increase. The effect is gradually taking its toll on traders and consumers. Some market women complained over the hike in prices of food items, which they attributed to the exchange rate of the dollar to the naira. They said a bag of rice, which before now goes for 10,000 naira, is now sold for 14,000 naira. An average size chicken, which is sold for 1,200 naira, is now sold at the rate of 1,500 naira.
The changing of dollar, it don't increase our market. Because we will carry money market and not the rich will buy anything again.
It transport the dear. This okpala wey we dey buy 4,000 for rubber of rice, 6,000 I will dey buy am now. Nobody will not know say something dey cost.
Today I decided to come by myself. And you when I come, changes and the high price of everything, times 2, times 3, going to times 3.
We used to buy bag of rice 10,000 naira, 8,000, from 8 to 10. Now they are selling 14,000 now. A rubber of rice now is now 750. The cup of rice is now 70 naira. Now we don't even sell as before. When they price, then we go.
Now basin of garri 5,000. Plantain before dozen 3,000. Now, dozen of plantain 4,000, 5,000. Transport, when you be they pay 1,000, now 3,000, 4,000. Then say make we change say na dollar. Dollar me no know
as I go take sell again. I beg. Make government talk to people, make the thing come.
Reacting to the issue of the exchange rate of $1, which is now being sold at the rate of 395 naira, a university lecturer and a clergyman noted with concern that in any economy of the world, there are issues that determine the well-being of the economy of a country, like the exchange rate of the country's currency, the inflation rate of the prices of goods and services, and the interest rates. They described Nigeria as a global country which exports only crude oil and as such manufactures other agricultural produce. They urged the federal government to invest more on the manufacturing of homemade goods and address the issue of job creation.
Any country who wants to grow economically must invest upon themselves. The only solution, since we have somewhat depended on the oil, and now